What's up, everybody? Welcome in to Talking SEC, your college baseball podcast home, weekly live show home. Tonight is a big time show tonight, y'all. The Lord has truly blessed us here at Busted Knee Sports as of late. I mean, every day that you wake up is a blessing, but He's truly blessed us here at Busted Knee Sports. We're going to have former Erskine College catcher, former Presbyterian catcher, and former South Carolina catcher Dalton Reeves joining us tonight. He'll be joining us here in a few minutes. I wanted to talk a little college ball and talk about the opening weekend that was before Dalton hops on here. So I'm going to go ahead and send Jamie his invite. We're going to get to talking about it. And he's a Vols fan. I'm gonna send Dalton his invite as soon as I can. I don't know where it's at right now. You might have to join for me to send it to him. Let me see if it'll do right.
I know.
All right, I'm gonna send him his in. I'm gonna send it to him.
Well, it ain't been on here so long. I don't forgot how to put a picture behind me.
I know, right? I've been doing these shows daggum near just me and Chris or by myself. Tigers picked up another big win today. I hadn't posted about it because I honestly got home from work and I forgot about it because we've kind of been busy. We got the PlayStation back over here at the brother-in-law's house, so been playing that Road to Glory mode. But how you feel about the Vols this past weekend, Jamie?
I mean, being one of the better teams in the country, I don't really take much stock into games against lower classification programs. I mean, there's just not much that can be said. We took care of business is what we did. Today, we get a midweek game. We win 29-4 against another lower classification program. The pitching staff has impressed me for the most part. I thought they were going to take a step back this year, but they've been pretty dominant. Like I said again, they haven't really played anybody just yet, but I'll like to see it against SEC programs and, better D1 programs than we're playing right now. But I've been impressed so far, obviously. Can't complain.
And that's how I feel about LSU. I think we're the most talented team in the country. I don't think it's even close. If you're in the chat right now, hit that like button, hit that share button, and make sure that you tune in for when Dalton Reeves is going to join us here in just a few moments. And welcome to Talking SEC. It's good to be seeing y'all this fine Tuesday evening here with a snowstorm upon Jamie and
Yes, sir.
Snowstorm. You going to work tomorrow?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to work. They ain't letting us off of that.
Yeah, well, last time they let us off, but
they let us off for the last time, but this ain't enough. This ain't what it was last time. So
no, I don't think so. But I liked what I saw at LSU this weekend, man. Played our midweek game today. I think we won 13-1 or something like that. The bats are clicking. I think we're the most talented team in the country, top to bottom. We've got pitching depth. We've got a good problem in terms of our outfielders right now. We've got 4 guys vying for 3 spots. No, Ashton Larson, Jake Brown, and Josh Pearson, Sandfield, battling for, and who else is it? Curiel, too. 5 guys for 3 outfield spots and a DA spot. But I think as deep as we are in those positions, that Jay Johnson's going to have to rotate guys in, and I think he will. Because, man, Ashton Larson had a day the other day. Jake Brown's made plays. Curiel was a first-round pick, but he decided to come back to LSU. I mean, he took his name. It was like the last second, but Curiel decided to forego the draft and come to LSU when he was a for sure first-round pick. So I like it. Of course, we got the best first baseman in the country, Garrett Jones. And that's something I'm excited to ask Dalton about because one of his career highlight moments is, driving in 3 runs against us in the SEC tournament last year, including hitting a home run. So I'm very excited. You remember Miss Daniels that taught at Brighton High School?
Yeah.
She went to Erskine too. And so
okay.
Yeah, so we got a connection to Dalton, and I think it's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
It's just a random little connection. She's from South Carolina. She was one of the teachers that was good to me, and I think it's cool how God connects dots for us.
She went there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's from South Carolina. Go Tigers. Let's go, Hunter. LSU fans, Tennessee fans, college baseball fans, hit that like button. We're sitting at 0 likes, y'all. The more y'all like it, it boosts the algorithm. I'm not going to ask you to send gifts, but if y'all want to send some roses or something that really don't cost you any actual money at all, go ahead and do that because it does help boost the algorithm. And hopefully, I don't know what time it is. I started a little early because Dalton didn't get off till 7, and he's only going to be with us for so long tonight. He has something to do over the weekend. But there's things that I'm just happy it's baseball season, man.
Yeah, I was just about to say, man, I'm so excited to watch SEC baseball. I love baseball in general, but this league this year, as it has been for the last couple of years, is going to be absolutely incredible. I mean, top to bottom, we are the best league in the country without a shadow of a doubt. With the
Not even
exception
close.
of Missouri. Missouri's not very good at baseball, but every other team in the conference is going to be competitive. It's going to be really good ball played all year long, and I'm so pumped for it.
2 years. Okay, Dalton's in here, so I can send him his invite. Man, I'm very excited. All this, Jamie, is you and I talk about quite frequently on the program. All this is because God's allowing it to happen, bro.
Yep.
It's simply because God is allowing it to happen. If He wasn't allowing it, none of this would be happening.
Absolutely.
What's going on, Dalton? Thank you for joining us tonight, bro.
Good. How y'all doing?
Man, we're doing just
about yourself.
Let's see. I do appreciate you taking time out of your evening. I don't know if you're going to turn your camera on or not. If you don't, that's 100% fine with me.
Gosh, yeah, I will. I'll turn it on. I'm driving right now. Just left work, so I figured I'd hop on in.
Well, I do appreciate your time, man. I do want to start off the interview by saying congratulations on your engagement, man. You got engaged over the weekend. I saw that.
Yeah,
And I know I told you, on my personal Instagram, because I was DMing you on my personal Instagram. And, of course, I messaged you on the show page as well for the brand that I'm trying to grow. My name is Nathan. This is Jamie. And for those of y'all that don't know, this is Mr. Dalton Reeves, the catcher at Erskine College for 2 years, at Presbyterian College for 2 years, and the South Carolina Gamecocks, who made 30 starts for the Gamecocks last year and had some big time moments. So we cannot thank you enough, Dalton.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Man, I do. I know that not everybody is watching or will be watching after the fact on YouTube later because this episode will be downloaded to my phone and posted on the Busted Me Sports Network on YouTube. For those of everybody that's out there that ain't watching the show live. Your story was talked about ad nauseum in the SEC tournament last year, but I do want to hit it. You were the Conference Player of the Year for D2 in your conference in 2021. You played 2 years at Erskine, went to Presbyterian. You led them in RBIs and home runs in 23. You got to South Carolina this past season in 2024. You have a grand slam in the SEC tournament. You drove in 3 runs against my Tigers, which we'll get into some of that in just a minute. But I didn't know you were the Conference Player of the Year. I feel like I did during Hoover last year, but I had kind of forgotten about it until I started getting some notes together.
Yeah, I think I was the Conference Freshman of the Year that year when I was at Erskine.
That's on South Carolina's thing for not. Man, that was – what? Me and Jamie were talking about it before, and I know I commented on one of your videos a while back, but we have a teacher that I had my sophomore year of high school named Miss Michelle Daniels. Miss Michelle Daniels graduated from Erskine College.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so Miss Daniels was a real good lady. She's from South Carolina just like you. And when I heard you went to Erskine during the tournament at Baton Rouge North last year, I was like, hold on, I know that school from somewhere.
Oh, yeah. That's a small world, dude. Not a lot of people go to Erskine. So.
It's D2, so how – and we'll get into – yeah, I'd say I guess we'll start here, Dalton. What was your baseball journey like growing up? Like, how did you end up at Erskine and Presbyterian and then to South Carolina?
Yeah, so baseball kind of runs in my family. My grandfather played it. My uncle and my dad, they both went to college and played baseball. So I always grew up playing baseball. Got to high school. I actually got cut my 8th grade year from my JV team. And I made the JV team 9th and 10th grade. And then finally made the varsity team junior year. And going into my senior year, I only had the one offer from Erskine. And so I really, just took that chance and went there for 2 years. I was pretty undersized, and I grew pretty late. I was still growing into college. I was 5'8" my sophomore year, and then I came back 6'1" my junior year of high school. And then by the time I was a sophomore in college, I had grown to 6'5". So I was a very, very late bloomer. really kind of grown into my body as I was in college. So I really didn't establish myself as a hitter. I feel like I really felt comfortable with who I was until either my first year at PC or my second year at Erskine, kind of that transition period. A couple of guys like Elton Pollock and Will Kaufman were big pieces in me figuring out my swing and how to use my body effectively. And it only increased from there as I got with Monty Lee at South Carolina. A lot of stuff clicked when I started working with him. So.
Yeah, that South Carolina team, man. I've been a college baseball fan since I was 11, something like that. You and I are pretty much the same age. I think your birthday's like a month and a half before mine. We graduated high school the same year, so I'm a 2019 high school grad as well. I graduated with Dalton Rushing, the catching prospect in the Dodgers organization, the number one prospect in their organization. His little brother's actually a pitcher at Memphis, Logan Rushing, and that they picked up a series win this weekend. And when I first started watching college baseball was when Ray Tanner was winning championships at South Carolina. So did you grow up a South Carolina baseball fan or a Clemson fan?
Yeah, I grew up a South Carolina fan. I was big into the 2010, 2011 runs, even 2012 with the runner-up. And I was an ecstatic Gamecock fan. The whole family was finished there.
I'm sure it's because it looks like your signal's a little rough right now. But I mean, where me and Jamie are from, you go down one street, you got no signal.
Yeah, can you hear me now? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's better.
All right. So I grew up a Gamecock fan. I was very, very hot on them, and whenever it was 2011, 2010 when they made the run. So I've always been a Gamecock, and my family's full of Gamecocks. So to be able to finish there was really that was my dream school. So.
And it was cool, man. Like I'm a big proponent of letting people tell their story. I was never an athletic type of player. I've always had passion for ball, and I've always talked ball. And so, like over the last 2024, I started busting these sports. Started really trying to get after it, and we had Logan Kresge on last week, a catcher at Wichita State, and that was a really great interview. And something I've asked Logan, and now I'll ask you: who introduced you to Jesus, and how did you get to know Jesus? Because I know you're a man of faith.
Oh yeah, so my family's full of Christians. We always grew up going to church and everything. So now I knew Christ from a young age, but I didn't really start taking it seriously until I want to say maybe my sophomore, junior year of high school, and then on into college. When I really got tested in my first few years of college, and I made some poor decisions like we all do, and kind of rekindled my faith. And so as I finished up my college career, I really figured out, hey, maybe Jesus is trying to tell you something stupid, and maybe you should pick your head up and do what's right. So, and then a door started opening, and I started having success, and it was really crazy to see what God was able to do through me in that journey.
It's awesome, dude. You're, like I said, maybe ad nauseum's not the right word, but that's just how much they talked about your story during SEC tournament last year, and I think it's awesome because it's not where you go, it's what you do when you get wherever you end up going. Because, I graduated with Dalton Rushing, right? But he went to Louisville, obviously was top prospect. But a lot of his teammates from the high school team, they went and played smaller ball. And now, hell, I think 3 of his former teammates are the coaches at the middle school that we went to. And so it's all about where you get, the opportunity and what you do with it. And I know I commented on your video and we talked about it a little bit. Our guy Jacob is he's the biggest Mississippi State fan I know. He's really fond of your brother Sawyer. That's something that I'll ask you in a second. But I've got a few questions from Jacob since he works in finance, so he's busy this time of year. Let's talk about your brother Sawyer. Okay, I know you were in Starkville this past weekend. I'm assuming that's where you proposed to your now fiance, right?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, cool. So tell me about your brother Sawyer, since I'm not a State fan, I don't know, and what are you looking forward to seeing out of him and the Bulldogs this year?
Gotcha. Was I lost you there for a second? Sorry. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Now we can. Go on. It's kind of hit or miss.
Y'all hear me? Am I getting better?
It's kind of cutting in and out on us. Appreciate you.
Right
I got you.
Me and Jamie are from BFE nowhere, so we understand the whole bad signal.
All right. I think I'm back.
All right, cool. So yeah, so what are you looking forward to?
Y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can.
Got you. So yeah, I mean, my brother he played 4 years at the Citadel. He walked on there and then ended up earning a scholarship. And now he's being over fifth year at Mississippi State. He was a redshirt freshman his freshman year, so kind of how I did with COVID. You go get that freshman year, and so he gets to transfer to Mississippi State. And South Carolina wanted him real bad, but he felt led. That's where because he got married last summer, kind of through the recruiting process. So that's where he felt most led to. He felt like there were doors to be open in Mississippi, so he ended up at Mississippi State. But I mean, he's just an absolute dude, man. And he's figured out because he's very similar to me, very late bloomer. Really kind of tapping into more of his power side. He's always been a phenomenal hitter, and a phenomenal fielder. But he's kind of just been figuring out some things in his swing, and I think he's going to take a huge jump this season from where he was last year at the Citadel, throughout his career. He's only ranked like the number 36 second baseman in the country, but he's predominantly a shortstop. He's just that versatile where he can play other positions and have as many bats as they want in the lineup. He can play all over the infield. So he's a hard worker, man. He's a man of faith. He's the best dude you can find around. He's going to be the best teammate, one of the best leaders I've ever seen. And I think he's going to shock a lot of people in the SEC this year.
I hope so. As an LSU fan, my soon-to-be brother-in-law is a big Mississippi State fan, and I have LSU going anywhere from 46-10 to 40-16 this year. But one of our two SEC series I think will drop is Mississippi State, because that's a program the last couple of years that has had all the talent in the world to make a run. They've just gotten hit with the injury bug, and that's one of the things that I love about the SEC is we know it's the best conference in the country in multiple sports, but you saw it in Hoover, you saw it in South Carolina. You went to South Carolina. That is a fan base that loves y'all, and that knows South Carolina baseball, knows baseball in general. So what was it like for you coming from D2 to low-level D1 and into the best conference in America?
Dude, it was nuts. I'll tell you that. We had more people at our fall scrimmages at Carolina than I think we had ever at Erskine or a PC regular season game. So that was, first of all, insane. That was something that I just took in when I got there. I wasn't even in the starting lineup, and I was nervous as hell. So, but once I got in there, making that jump. I mean, the talent level is crazy. It doesn't matter who you're facing on what certain day. I mean, the entire staff's going to be good no matter what. Making that adjustment, not only velocity, but guys can throw 3 or 4 different pitches in any count that they feel like, any count that they want. So I really had to make some adjustments to my swing and make my swing more adjustable to be able to, react to those change in velocities and those different movements on pitches, because they throw balls that I've never seen do what they do in the SEC. I mean, it was insane. But more than anything, I had to gain a little bit more confidence myself, and especially that first game against PC when I was at Carolina, I kind of established to myself, like, you're fully capable of performing at a high level here and anywhere you want to be. So that was the biggest thing was, the mental side of it. The approach had to shift a little bit. How my preparation had to tick up again. I mean, I've always been a big preparer and getting stretched and, taking film and that kind of deal. But even in the SEC, like, we have so much information available to us. I tried to get as much as I could every time we were going out. So I really adapted that. I guess the professional side of things, because you're together as a team, but especially once you get in the SEC and those kind of programs, it's a more professional kind of mindset. It's very player led, very player driven. So we kind of, you're given the information, you know what you're supposed to do, and it's up to you to do it. So I really had to grow and mature there, going into the SEC and preparing for every weekend and every game by itself.
You're the first former SEC baseball player that we've talked to. I've interviewed Jalen Collins, and who played at LSU as a defensive back. And we also interviewed Tyler Siskey, who's a recruiting coordinator at Alabama, and had some stops along the way. But to hear you talk about it from a baseball standpoint, with all the information that's available to you and how much you had to grow it, I think it's awesome because you played well last year. I mean, you played well. I mean, you had 30 starts in the best conference in America. That is awesome. The fact that are you going to play any ball this year at all? Do you know?
Nah, so I've kind of decided I'm probably done now. I've got a career that can take off a little bit, and I'm still doing baseball stuff, lessons and coaching, that kind of deal. But I think I'm just being told that my life's being led in a different direction now, man.
Okay. So now let's get into the SEC tournament 2023. No, 4. Yeah, it was 4 last year. I can't believe it's 2025 now some days. So you had a grand slam against Alabama, and that was one of Jacob's questions. What was going through your mind in that at bat, and what was going through your mind when you realized that ball was going over the wall?
Yes, I mean, I knew that guy was pretty. I mean, everybody you face is going to be good. So now I was hitting dead red heater, and like I talked about earlier, I figured out some things in my swing to be able to be better. I forgot.
Yeah, it was cutting out real bad. So you said you were sitting on a piece of cheese. You saw it, you knew you were going to get a fastball. You were sitting on it. You hit it, and what was going through your head? Like, you got that fastball, did your eyes light up, or did you stay within yourself and put the ball where it needed to go?
Good. Yes, I mean, he was fish off his own stone, and I was able to, pick up the curveball early and make the adjustment there to be able to put a good barrel on that. Am I still breaking up?
Yeah, it sounds like you're at where you were going. Maybe you might could try turning your Wi-Fi on to see if that might help you. Not quite sure if what might help you there. Sometimes TikTok takes a lot of signal strength.
Yeah.
All right. I'm having fun so far, Damon. You think it?
Do what?
I'm pretty sure that Stephen Milam walk-off was against South Carolina, wasn't it? I'm going to leave and join back. I'm sorry. You're good, Dalton, bro. We just appreciate your time, bro. We really do. You didn't have to join us tonight, so I'm very, very grateful. Very grateful for your time. Because in baseball, I love baseball. I love LSU football, but I went to watch the boys at the box play North Dakota State. That's how much I love LSU baseball.
Dude, because I've been into baseball for the longest, but I've only been into college baseball for probably 7-8 years. It was like the time we hired Tony Batista.
All right, we're back, I think.
Getting into the college game.
Yeah.
And it's the best sport on the planet. It really is.
Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we got you, Dalton.
Sweet. Sorry about that.
No, you're all right. It's been about a year now since I started trying to do this, and we've definitely had some shows, especially during football season, where the signal was like, it was a rough little 15, 20-minute start with the programs. All right, walk us through that at bat right quick.
Yes, I mean, I knew that guy had a. I mean, every staff in the SEC is good, so I mean, I knew I had to be on the fastball. That's kind of my approach, was not be late to the fastball. So I'm driving that ball to left center field, staying inside of it, and then adjusting to the off speed and pulling that. So I laid off a few good pitches to get to 2-0, and I was dead red heater, and I was able to sink into it and recognize the spins. I think the pitching report said he had a pretty high loop on his curveball, and so I recognized that loop out the hand. And I was able to sit back on it enough and sit my legs and get a good barrel on it. And when I hit it, I mean, it was the most pure feeling I've ever had. And I knew it was gone. I just was hoping the wind wouldn't bring it back, because the wind was brutal in Hoover that weekend, and it was bipolar too. One inning you'll be blowing out at 20 miles per hour, and then the other end is blowing in at 20. So I was really hoping that I put enough on it to get through the wind, and luckily I did. So I mean, that's a dream come true. Grand slam to go ahead in the SEC tournament. Shoot, you talk about the little kid going crazy in you. I mean, coming around the base path, I think I blacked out, to be honest.
I would too.
So,
now, I've never been good enough to be there. I'm supposed to be coaching 11 and 12U this year, and that's I've got some stuff. I've got like a general outline of stuff to talk about with you, and we as in the purple and gold deep powerhouse. Y'all played us twice in the tournament last year, right?
Yeah, and for some reason we couldn't beat y'all, and it was the most annoying thing ever.
I thought y'all beat us the first game, didn't you?
Nah, man, I think y'all beat us like 3-2 or something. We were making I was the tie and run in the bottom of the ninth, and then I got on first, and we could never get past that.
So that's something I'll do So South Carolina did you good with talking about like some of your career like key moments. You had 3 RBIs, 2 for 4, and a home run against LSU. Who'd you hit it off of? I can't remember. Was it Helmers? Was it Thatcher Hurd? Sorry.
No, it was a reliever. Oh, I can't remember his name. I should know his name. I can't remember. It was a reliever. I want to say.
Crap. We had a bunch of hosses in the pen. It could have been what? It could have been nasty. I can't remember. He could have hit it off of Nate Ackenhausen. He could have hit it off of the hell's his name? I don't think it was Christian Little. Those were 2 of my favorite LSU games of the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Against South Carolina and Hoover. Like, it was beautiful.
South Carolina played Tennessee really tough last year.
I mean, I think we had a game against them canceled in the series, or we would have lost the series, I think. To be honest, like, because we went to wherever in South Carolina it is. And I respect, because I feel like he went and looked it up. I respect that.
It was number 0. It was like Mustaf, or I could be butchering that.
Yeah.
Righty.
Yeah. We got a lot of guys.
He had a filthy changeup, I'll tell you what.
So so the Stephen Milam walk-off was against y'all too, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. Milam, the little I think he plays second baseman.
He's moving to shortstop. When you talked about your brother being versatile, so I don't know if you're keeping up with you're probably not keeping up with LSU like that, but Braswell has moved to third. Jones is staying at first. Daniel Dickinson, a transfer from Utah State, is playing second. They moved Monster Milam over there to short. That's a little guy with a big stick, though. That kid, he had an RBI triple today, matter of fact. That guy, dude, I like him. He's the best infielder we have had since Alex Bregman, and I stand on that.
He's good, dude. He's real good.
So against LSU, that was so we had guys in that lineup last year like Tommy White. Tommy White was he was pretty much our biggest threat last year. I mean, I love Alex Milazzo. I met Alex Milazzo in Oxford 2 years ago during the national championship season. But I mean, he wasn't much of a threat. So as a pitching staff, because I don't know how it was. I'm assuming your coaches called your pitches on the pitch column and you just kind of relayed them in. But what was
Yes.
the approach? Okay, kind of explain like how you got your signals in, and then explain like what's your approach against a guy like Tommy White? Because if your pitcher doesn't put it in the right spot, you know it tanks, and they don't call him Tommy Tanks for nothing.
Oh yes, I mean, I think you kind of cut out there for a second. That's on my end. I think you're asking how we got the pitches in and stuff and relayed
Yes,
that.
sir.
Yeah, so we have we use PitchCom. So I'm not actually signaling anything. At least whenever I was there, we just had the bracelet, the like watch looking thing. I had one, and the pitchers use one that like actually verbally says it to them in their hat.
Oh, that's cool.
So coach is pressing a button and it's saying, fastball middle, fastball off, curveball down. So that's how we do that. And then, approaching Tommy Tanks, I mean, you got to get ahead of him. You got to try and get him to chase. You got to try to get him to get himself out, because anywhere you throw it in his zone is a danger zone against a guy like that. We try to make him uncomfortable, brush him off a few times. I think he actually ended up getting hit in the head one time, unfortunately.
He didn't have a good Hoover at all, to be honest.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to keep that guy from being able to extend his arms to the zone. So you try and bust him in, and then, play off that down and try and get him to chase, moving up and down, changing his eye level. Just trying to do everything you can to keep him as uncomfortable as possible, because as soon as he gets comfortable, I mean, he's going to hurt you in a lot of different ways.
I got to meet him. He, LSU's saying that starts with "suck that" and ends with "bleep bleep." Well,
Yeah.
I've got a shirt that is like Will of Fortune style fill in the blank, and
Mm-hmm.
I wore it to my first ever LSU game in the box was last year. We saw LSU in Tiger Park beat number 1 Texas in softball that day. I got to go watch the boys mash up on North Dakota State, and I wore that shirt, and I got to meet Tommy, and it was really cool because I met Dylan Cruz the year before in Oxford.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you met Dylan Cruz. He's a humble guy, to be honest. Like he's a humble man. But Tommy signed my shirt. I was like, Tommy, will you sign my shirt? I'm grown. There's a bunch of kids around me. He signed it. He was like, huh, okay, and signed it. I was like, hey, you to go, man. So how was Hoover, like the atmosphere? We call it Baton Rouge North because that's what it is. I mean, historically we own Hoover. How were the fans of not only like LSU and South Carolina, but South Carolina fans travel well?
Yeah, we had a good many fans there. I mean, LSU, I felt like it was a daggone LSU home game. There were so many stupid fans, but yeah, I mean, we had a bunch of groups of Gamecock fans travel with us. Family and the diehards. We had a lot of, call them our regulars. That we see every game that are always there. They somehow teleported to Hoover and got there before we did, I feel like. But yeah, I mean, the atmosphere is nuts, bro. I mean, it's postseason baseball, so everything matters a little bit more. I mean, the fans get fired up, they're yelling, they're yelling, they're hollering. Like it was a really cool atmosphere, and the amount of history that's in that stadium. I mean, it was really cool to actually not feel it. It's pretty. Got to go there and walk around. They're acquainted, see the locker rooms and everything the day before. And so when I stepped on the field, I just kind of, took a deep breath and took it on while it was empty. And as soon as I stepped up there, I've done lost my connection again. But
Hey, we just appreciate your time, man. Like it's truly like God has allowed us to do this, and I'm very thankful. We're also having like winter weather. Jamie and I are from the same place. I always say this to people because I think it's a fun fact. Like, he was literally outside in the street with tornado sirens going off with my mama, like, last weekend, and now we're sitting here because he lives on the same street as my mama. So, yeah, shout out to my mom. I don't know if she's watching, but I love my mom. We've actually gotten closer again, which is great. That's neither here nor there. She doesn't care about baseball, but that's a question Jacob had. What was, since you're talking about the atmosphere of Hoover and being able to just take a deep breath and take it all in, what was the best stadium atmosphere outside of Hoover that you experienced in your time playing college baseball?
I mean, Founders Park on a Friday night is pretty hard to beat, especially when playing SEC. I mean, it was unreal the amount of support we got. Um, Outside of that, Ole Miss was pretty cool. Swayze Field or Swayze Stadium. Even though that series didn't go as well as we wanted it to, it was a really cool experience because you see the beer showers and all that, and it looks cool on on TV and on YouTube, but then you get to actually be there and feel the stadium and feel the environment. It's a pretty cool place to be. I didn't get to go to the Dude, but I took BP there last fall. That was pretty nuts. And playing here, my brother's playing here now. We went to open a weekend, and I mean, it really is probably the nicest field in college baseball.
You've never been to Baton Rouge. I'm just saying, hey, not to toot the horn. Okay, I love state. I'm actively trying to get to the Dude this year. Jacob's mom and dad or grandparents or season ticket holders. I'm trying, but one of our co-hosts, Jacob, he has a baby on the way, and so him and his wife are expecting their first child in May.
Nice.
Right, kind of like one of those right around the Kentucky series. And I can't believe you didn't get to experience Tiger. You didn't get to experience Alex Box. You got to see a game at Alex Box. When your brother goes down there, if you can go, Dalton, you gotta go, dude. It's an atmosphere. You talk about the energy. For me, I've been an LSU fan since 2011. I've met guys that have played in the College World Series. Like Kramer Robertson played here in Memphis for the Redbirds for a few years. And I got to meet Kramer a couple different times. And man, I love it. Can't hardly beat it at all. So the Dude got to experience BP at the Dude. And I'm surprised you said Ole Miss, okay? And the reason I say that is because I got to see Paul Steen shove. Not only did I go during the national championship season, I went on a Friday night and saw Steen shove. Dadgummit. Tommy White hit a grand slam over the wall. Dylan Cruz, man, I talk about him being humble. I was like, Dylan, you about hit one out there in the first inning. He said, yeah, maybe I need to get in the weight room a little bit, joking around. Hits 2 home runs the next day. Talking about a legend that guy's. I would not have given Ole Miss that much credit. That's a long way of saying that. I would not have, because we were treated terribly in Oxford 2 years ago at the football game. But I guess that's what you get for wearing a Drew Brees jersey in the bottom of the Ole Miss student section. You get what you get for that. But at least at the baseball stadium, those frat boys that the daddies are paying for them to go to school are on the opposite side of the field.
Yeah, at least you ain't got to hear them too much.
I was sitting next to some mama and her son, and I bust my butt on TV. One of my groomsmen in my wedding, Dalton, he's an LSU fan. Yeah, he played catcher growing up too, ironically. Dalton was like, I saw you bust your ass. I was like, what are you talking about? He said, I seen that. I was watching. Because I tried to step over my fiance and slipped, didn't get the ball. And then I was down there grabbing me a cold drink and missed the ball again, and I wasn't going to steal it from some 8-year-olds because it's wrong.
Yeah, 100%. So I will say I don't know if you've seen the Charlotte Knight Stadium where we played North Carolina.
I had
that
not.
Stadium was crazy. It's a minor league stadium. I want to say it's AAA or AA. I want to say AA maybe.
AAA.
But it is in the middle of Charlotte with the skyscrapers and everything in the background. That was a really cool one. And then when we played Clemson at the neutral site, I think I was at the Firefly Stadium. That was awesome. There was a packed out crowd. I mean, everybody's hollering at each other. Nobody likes anybody. And playing Clemson, we're gonna get in a fight at some point. So,
did you say earlier that your first game at SC was against Presbyterian?
It was my first start.
I know you weren't going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk about it. 2 3-run home runs against your former team.
Yeah.
Bittersweet or yeah.
It was bittersweet. I mean, it was cool. I mean, I thought it was really kind of like a full circle moment. I mean, those guys believed in me when I was coming out of D2, and unfortunately, I actually the second one I hit off my former roommate at PC. So that was fun. I get to hold that over his head forever. But yeah, I mean, that was really cool. I talked to Pollock after the head coach at PC. He's a really good family friend too, growing up. I mean, he was there. Man, I can't throw a fastball, but I can't give you a curve. I can't throw you nothing. I finally got you the changeup because you always fall for the changeup no matter where you are. But I mean, it was a really special moment, and we had a really good game against them. I mean, it was a shootout. I think it was like 19-14 final score or something.
Dang on.
So that game was a shootout, but it was really cool to be able to play against them. Period, to start against them, but then to actually perform and kind of go off a little bit. That was really cool too.
So
Man.
I've got a question for you, Dalton. So as you can tell, I'm a Tennessee fan.
Oh Lord,
Do what?
oh Lord, not a Tennessee fan.
He's a good one. He's a good one. He's the only good one I've ever found, but he's a good one.
Rational Tennessee fan. We're few and far between, but we do exist. But no, I just wanted to ask you, man. I know you guys played in Knoxville last year, and I just want to know from a catcher's perspective what it was like being able to play against a lineup that was as good as Tennessee's lineup was offensively last year. Obviously, went on to win a national championship, and we were just teeing off on everybody the way we were. I know y'all actually did play us really tough last year. I would, just the guys that you got to go against, Christian Moore, Blake Burke, those kind of guys. From a catcher's perspective, what was it like, calling pitches against those guys, and how was the experience for you?
It was pretty impossible, to be honest. I feel like Christian Moore didn't get out. He was really annoying. One of the best swings I've ever seen. And Blake Burke, I've always loved Blake Burke's swing. I mean, that dude, his bat, I feel like whenever he swings it, he just hits a home run every time for some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that was a series where we felt like we were right there. We competed really well, and we feel like we had multiple opportunities to take advantage of, and we didn't. But I mean, that was a really good series. I mean, I think they were number one like all year essentially, and they were number one at that point too. So I mean, it felt like we played them really well, and that was at the end of our season. That was our last regular season. So we kind of got we figured some things out that weekend. I think that really kind of propelled us into the SEC tournament and really allowed us to be like, okay, it's time to go. Like, we're in the SEC tournament. We weren't in the double elimination. So I mean, we were basically play-in games. So I mean, that series kind of kicked us into gear. We really got tested that series for sure.
I remember watching that series, and I was like, man, is this the time where Tennessee does what Tennessee normally does and crap the bed come postseason play in any sport? And, I mean, y'all played us so tough that weekend. I was like, here we go. Here's the Tennessee I know. But, I mean, obviously being a fan, it's like, man, this is rough to watch, but I'm just hoping that we can get it together come, Hoover and then, the World Series and all that, which fortunately we were able to do, which was awesome to see because I've known nothing but disappointment as a Tennessee fan my entire life. So it was just cool for them to, go out and do what they did in Omaha. But no, man, it was freaking cool. I'm starting to learn more about your story. I was doing a little bit of research and stuff on you earlier, and Nathan already asked you the other question I had for you, what it was like going from D2 to Presbyterian and eventually to the SEC. And man, God bless you. That's all I want to say to you. I just hope
Thank you.
Bless you and everything that you decide to do in your future. I know you said you're probably done with ball, but don't give up on it all the way.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. I will say that weekend I had one of my proudest swings. I turned around Nate Snead's 100-mile-an-hour fastball at the top of the zone. Yeah. Felt pretty good about that.
I do remember that.
But
the third game of the series against LSU got canceled, didn't it?
For when you talking about?
When because we played in South Carolina last year, I do believe.
For which one time?
Last regular season against South Carolina. Baseball. I do believe one of those games of that series got canceled because of a storm or something.
I don't think we played LSU in the regular season last year.
It was a couple of years ago. Maybe it was the national.
I know 2023 there was a rain delay when Skeens was pitching in game one.
That may have been because I believe we were going to lose that series. I thought it may have been last year, but I was looking forward to the 2025 LSU baseball season way too much in 2024. So when our team, we were right there, y'all, I love this conference. I love this conference. And every school I have at least a little bit of love for, except Auburn. Auburn fans in Auburn can go to the pooper because I can't deal with Auburn. But I love this conference, and I love that like what we got in Hoover between us and between LSU and South Carolina last year is what Hoover's all about, because it gave you an opportunity. God gave you an opportunity on the biggest stage in college baseball outside of Omaha to get your name out there, to put on a show, and you made plays. You know, y'all, that South Carolina team was daggum gritty. Y'all were gritty. When Jamie's talking about how that Knoxville series went, y'all were gritty, and it was dangerous. Like it was, because LSU had to go on a run. If we don't beat A&M, like down the stretch, we were in jeopardy of not even making it to Hoover. That's how, and A&M did what A&M does and gave us a series win. So that was beautiful. So I saw that. Are you actively working on your master's, or are you done with your master's now?
I'm done with my master's. It was just a 1-year master's.
Okay, and it was for
Mental performance.
mental performance. Okay, that's not what was listed on South Carolina's board about you. It was something with coaching. So with that, what you're done playing, but you're not done coaching. You're not done in the game, right?
Yeah, I want to stay in baseball and sports in some capacity. I've been doing a lot of like baseball lessons with younger kids, and so that's something that I found out I'm really passionate about, is helping that next generation, get to where I got and even farther. So I'm definitely very interested in staying in baseball in some capacity.
Are you in Starkville? Do you live in Starkville now?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. I might have to ask a favor of you. I ain't got no money to give you for it, but I'm supposed, because I'm here in Olive Branch. That's where I'm at. I'm from Tipton County, where Jamie lives, but I'm gonna be coaching an 11-year-old and 12-year-old team in Olive Branch, man. So if you ever got the time just to make an appearance, this is my first year coaching. So I want to ask you, as a guy that's been there, done that at pretty much, I mean, you started at lower level, you went up, and you played at the pinnacle, at the highest level. Is there any advice you might could give me as a coach, considering I had a cannon for an arm that stuck me in right field because I was trashed? So what's your advice for me and anybody that might be watching that's getting into coaching?
Yes, I mean, in that regard, every kid's different. There's no one way to do it. But I mean, you need to make sure that the kids are, they understand discipline. There's a right way to do things. Taking care of the little things. Putting your glove down right, running through first, hustling between the lines. Because that's a problem I've been having to run it. I've done a few clinics and stuff, and they like to talk and throw their gloves around and stuff. So establishing that discipline is going to be really good for them in the long run too, as they grow older. And having a conversation with them rather than speaking down on them. A lot of coaches will speak from their high horse and run kids out of sports because they make them not love it anymore. Like baseball's a game, and all sports are kids' games. You grow up playing them, you have a love for them, and it's too often I see where guys are like, yeah, I mean, I had this one coach and I just fell out of love with the sport because he made me hate it. So approach each kid, care more about the kid rather than the kid's performance. That's a big thing that I try to focus on. Whenever you're teaching something, make sure that they get them to kind of repeat it back to you and have them, because that shows understanding when they can start talking about it. Because the quicker they can figure out how their swing works, how they field ground balls, mechanics and that kind of deal, they can start being their own coach. That's huge. That's a huge step.
Okay, cool. Right, I'm sitting there listening to it because I've reached out to a couple different coaches that I know, one of which is Jamie's friend who coaches a similar age group that I'll be coaching, his friend Matthew. And then I reached out to a coach that played a little high school ball and a little college ball and stuff. And his friend Matthew said something, and because he's coaching like middle schoolers, and he was like, we had a coach that we played against. His kid, he'd say, "What's the most important play in baseball?" And his kids would yell back, "The next one." So that's like, because I mean, baseball is a game where if you fail 7 out of 10 times at the plate, you might go to the Hall of Fame hitting 300.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. But God uses adversity to teach us things.
Yep.
The last year was crazy, man. And I think the Bible says it somewhere. I have not read my Bible near enough. I've been trying to be better on my prayer game, but like in terms of me getting in the Word, I'm not doing as well at it. But like, our testimonies are important. Like they very much are. And so like last year, I went from like feeling like I was at rock bottom, and then God opened up a door. And like now, I have this and like the opportunities that God has bestowed upon me are not something to look at with like, high horsing because, you don't have to do this. God don't have to do this for us, but he's doing it because God knows how much I love sports and he knows how much you love the game. And so the fact that you're still able to give back to the game, because you hear guys like weird connection to different sport, but like Chuck Pagano was on the Pat McAfee show a lot, like every week, right? Coach missed football. What's he doing? He's going back to coach for the Ravens because ball guys like to be around ball. So I think it's awesome, man. And congrats on your engagement. I think that's cool. Jamie got married last year. I'm getting married in May. My fiance knew better than a fall wedding, but ain't no fall wedding. And it's going to be like slap in the middle of our season too. We're supposed to have our coaches meeting hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We're not going to play, but like 12 games, something like that. I'm gonna have like 12 kids on my team. I want to play small ball though. Like I want to have these kids have fun because I had coaches that made a positive impact on me. Like you said, talk to them, don't talk down on them. I think it's awesome, man. I'm just grateful for the opportunity because I love talking ball. This is back-to-back weeks getting to interview a catcher. And I think it's cool. What made you decide to make Starkville the home, Dalton?
Well, that's where my fiance was. That was a big driving factor of that, was moving closer to her. I got a job as the general manager at Planet Fitness here in Starkville, so I'm working there right now, and I love that. I'm having a blast. I'm running a gym, so I'm still in the fitness industry. Able to help people, build better lives for themselves. That's a big point of what I want to do, is finding ways to help people. My brother was here, so I get to watch his last season of college ball. Hopefully, he gets drafted and moves on to bigger things. But if not, I'll be here for a lot of the games. So it just made the most sense to move here for a little bit.
I like it. I like that. Mississippi income tax is not something I'm looking forward to. It's not that bad, from what I heard. But see, that's why I like living in the great state of Tennessee, because I was living in Tennessee. But see, guys throwing a little scoop of adversity, and it's like right now it's a little hard to see him in this situation, but he's got a plan for everything. Like everything I went through, so like to get to this point, I went from a guy that was just calling Paul Feinbaum, talking to Feinbaum all the time about LSU, about whatever, to doing this. And I'm very, very thankful because this is an outlet for me. I very much enjoy it. I'm trying to think. I don't even know. I'm gonna see what.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to head out here shortly. I apologize.
No, you're all right. Something I want to ask. I asked Logan this last week, and I want to ask you this, and I think I'm gonna start asking guests that we do have on because we don't. It's not that often we get a guest, so to have one back-to-back weeks, I think is awesome. What is some scripture or some verses that's helped you in the past along the way, especially like you said, like when you were facing adversity? And what are some scriptures that you're leaning on now? Here comes the freezing.
Romans 8:18. It's the struggle. It's basically, I'm not going to quote it word for word, but it's essentially the struggles you go through now is nothing compared to the joy that'll be revealed to you later. That's something that I really leaned on through my playing career, and right now I'm really leaning on Jeremiah 29:11. That's a big heart on and a verse on my heart. My mom grew up telling me every day. So trying to stay on his path and listen to his voice and the way that the doors that he's going to open and the doors he closes. Trying to make sure I'm not leaning on my own understanding, but I'm leaning on his.
I think that's awesome, man. That's why when life gets frustrating, like right now, it's kind of been. We're basically couch hopping right now because we were living somewhere that was in a pretty toxic environment. Like mold. We found there was mold in the apartment we had been living in for like 3.5 years. Yeah, toxic mold to the point where like my fiance ended up getting pneumonia real bad last fall, and like now we're basically like we're kind of at like a point where we're gonna have to do some things we don't necessarily want to do in terms of like moving back into the apartment. But like that's why I'm in my head and just can generally I lean on Proverbs 3:5 a lot. Trust the Lord God with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he'll make your path straight. Because God's plan is perfect, and if my life was going according to my plan, it would look completely different than it than it does right now. And I'm very thankful because something I feel like I've been am supposed to do is use this platform that I have to share, testimony with people in whatever form or capacity it's able to be done in, because God's given me this opportunity to do this. And, hopefully the hope by doing this is the more interviews I get, somebody's going to watch it and be like, hey, you know what? I like that guy. I'm going to offer him a job. And so I think something that I'll leave everybody with, and I think me and Jamie may wrap up after you hop off. But one of the assistant VPs of the Titans that I met last year at a job fair said, you never know who's watching. There could be two people in there, but one of those people will be the person that God wants you to see. So is there anything else you specifically want to mention before you get out of here? I know you got plans this evening.
Yeah, not too much, man. I've enjoyed it though. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Now, you're the one that played at South Carolina. You're the one that has a weird connection to two guys from Tipton County with Miss Michelle Daniels going to Erskine. I think it's cool. You're like right down the road from Jacob. I hate that he had to miss it. He's a big state fan. Maybe, just maybe, I can go with Jacob to a game this year. We might happen to see you there. My toxic trait is looking at SeatGeek when I know damn well I don't need to be spending the money to go to games. Like I do it. I literally was doing it with Jacob and Jamie and both the other night. So, Dalton, we cannot thank you enough for your time, man. I hope that we can connect in the future, maybe something this season with the Little League, or if you ever want to come on the show again, man, whenever you're whatever your next endeavor is, we would love to have you on. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really, really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed it. Nice to meet you guys and hang out for a little bit.
Yes, sir. Good night to you. Hey, I know we got some weather coming. I don't know if it's going to hit Starkville, but stay safe. You know these folks can't drive. I don't know how they drive in South Carolina, but folks in Mississippi cannot drive.
Oh, yeah. Very much so. Well, y'all stay safe as well. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Y'all have a good night.
You too.
Good, man. Good meeting.
Man, that's cool, bro. I'm just grateful.
Yeah, really cool. Big fan. Man,
I don't know if you watched last week's episode or not with me and Chris interviewing Logan, but I don't know what direction God's taking Busted Indian Sports in, but I do feel like I feel a drawing to athletes that are, that are open with their faith.
Yeah.
Because I think that's an opportunity for their testimony to be heard and be shared. Because Jesus, there's a story where in the Bible, I do not remember off the top of my head, but Jesus left 99 sheep for one. And what does that show us? That God loves all of us so much. It popped into my head during my prayer this morning. That song by, you and I are big country music fans. And I don't know if whoever's watching on YouTube later or live right now, that song Love Without End, Amen by George Strait. When I was praying this morning, that song popped into my head, and it may be because, y'all, God loves us so much. That song made me think about God's love for us. Like, God, He really does. Like, even when we're far from Him, He's right there. The situation I'm dealing with right now, me and my fiance are, it's hard to feel like everything's going to be okay, but I know it is. So, like, I've been struggling with, like, my emotions internally, but, like, about this situation, because, like, it ain't our fault that mold was there, but we're having to deal with it. So I think I've been internally a little upset. Not upset at God, just like, come on, you know what I mean? But I know that just as the things I went through before, that I never would have thought would have led to this, whatever's on the other side of this, God's providing. And I say that just to tell y'all that God loves you. I love you too, and I really do appreciate y'all watching. I mean, the only person I know in here is Jamie, and of course Tiger Bait's in here. What's up, big dog? But I'm just thankful because this page is out. So every one of y'all that watches, you're helping me out. You're helping us grow, and I just cannot thank y'all enough. LSU got a big win today. I got to post the Tigers are 4-0 graphic after the show. I'm hoping that the clips turn out pretty good. What's up? That's my Nana's in here. What's up, Nana? Love ya. Tammy, you got anything? You want to talk about anything interview-wise or anything stuck out to you or anything you want to talk about specifically before we get out of here?
Yeah, I just want to once again thank him for coming on the show. It was awesome. There's really no better feeling than being able to talk to and interview guys who have played at the highest level of the sport that we love and the conference that we love the most. And specifically, I mean, I didn't get to be on the show last week. High level catcher at the Division I level. It's impressive, man. It's freaking awesome. But I don't know, man. That SEC boy, that's just what we love down here. We love SEC ball.
Everybody but Auburn. Auburn can go up a tree.
And I feel the same way about
on a limb, chilling, not anything mean, y'all. I can't stand Auburn.
But no, man, it was just awesome having him on. I had a great time talking to him, getting to know him a little bit, even just outside of ball, talking faith, talking things like that. That's important stuff as well. He seems like a really, really awesome guy. I don't know, maybe one day we can all get together, go down to Starkville, go catch a ball game down there and do something like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Jacob's really busy lately. Man, I want you two to meet. And I hope, I don't know. Memphis games are cheap. I'm just saying, Memphis games are cheap. He works in finance, so he can't really just take off.
Yeah.
But those Saturday series games, bro, they're cheap to go to Memphis games.
Oh, yeah.
They're not even on SeatGeek. And if you do enjoy a cold adult beverage, when I was there last year, I can't drink because of issues I have now related to my body or whatever. Adult beverages are cheap there too. They're regular. They're not bad price. So they're closer to Mexican restaurant prices than AutoZone park prices. So I'm just grateful. I know that you and I both are probably going to be busting our butts at work tomorrow. If it's frozen, I don't know how many meters I'm reading, but we'll see. I'm just very thankful. At this point, I'm kind of rambling. Man, I love y'all. God loves you. Make sure you subscribe to the Busted in Sports Network on YouTube as well. We're getting real close to that 50 number. 50 is just the first step. So God loves you. I love you. God willing, we will see y'all here next Tuesday night live. Probably not with a guest, but I'm going to keep trying to work on that. Love y'all. Have a great week. Bye.